Hello, my Teaserking family. Sorry, it's been a few days. Um, I'll try to educate you so you can do some picks without me, like in the NBA. So in the NBA, what's been going on? We've been betting the loser back. So we had a 50-unit lock on game two. Boston won the first one. Golden State's backwards against the wall. Golden State wins by 30, and I think I called it by 30. Then what happens? They go back to Boston. Boston a loss gets the W. Golden State now after the loss for game four gets the W. So the loser back, because the teams are even, creates the loser to be far more motivated than the winner who kind of relaxed because they won. Hey, Nick. On Tampa Bay tonight, heavy. Yeah, I agree with you there. Tampa should finish it off. They got to get their heads on, but they're clearly the better team. Now let's talk about NBA tomorrow or whenever. Today's Saturday, so I think it's Sunday. Now, normally in my theory, we would bet Boston because we bet the loser back, but I'm going to kind of wait on that because Golden State theoretically is in a must win. If they go down 3-2 and go back to Boston game six, they could lose the series. I just assume kind of wait on this one and watch it and hope Golden State wins. Then we bet Boston in a lock in game six, and we bet Golden State a lock in game seven. So this is kind of a weird one because it's in Golden State. Theoretically, they have to win it because if Boston wins it, then they win game six, they win the series. So I look for Golden State, even though normally we're betting the loser back. This is a weird one where we kind of watch. If you want, I would bet a light Golden State if you have to bet the game, but I prefer to watch. This is a game to let go and wait for game six. Game six will be backs against the wall either way. So whoever wins game five goes up 3-2. The loser must win game six. Theoretically here, Golden State should win this one, and Boston wins six, Golden State wins seven. So the lock will be game six. Whoever needs the game is who we're going to lock. And then if it goes Golden State, Boston, then game seven lock is Golden State. They will win it. And you can see after the loss, look what happens, right? Boston wins game one. Golden State, after a loss, wins by 30. Boston goes home in a must win, wins by 10, 20 points. Golden State now down 2-1 in their minds after the loss, and they win. I don't remember the score. I think they won by 10. So you can see, just pick the winner, you win. But in game five, I think Golden State kind of has to win because then game six is in Boston, and they don't want to go down 3-2 going to Boston. So it's a little bit off. It's because of the way of the 2-2-1-1-1 that we actually, I think, have to take Golden State here. And then it's whoever loses this game is the lock in game six. And that's really the game we want to focus on. And then take the Golden State in game seven. That will be the thing. Now, if Golden State wins and then wins in Boston, it's all over. But I don't see that. Boston's proven they won a game at Golden State. They won game three. Boston can certainly play with them. Steph Curry, injured, didn't matter. He still lit it up. See, these guys in the big game, the injuries go away. They take their little shots, their pills, and they're all fine. So that's what you have there. Playoff sports, they're so much different. The cream comes to the top, and you just see. But when you listen to these shows, these people are so stupid. Because they look at what happened the game before. Oh, Boston beat Golden State in game three. They'll beat them in game. They showed how good they are. No. You got to understand psychology of the teams. The losers pissed off, and in this situation, they're just as good. So It's kind of a hard game to bet game 5 because Boston theoretically is the bet, but because of the way it goes, I think Golden State sort of has to win because they go to Boston, and Boston knows if they lose, they come home and they'll tie it up in game 6. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy that we have here. So I think it's almost a Golden State bet game 5 and then a Boston 6 and a Golden State 7. That's how I'm going to play it. But I'm not, if I play, it's going to be very Golden State because I don't want to go against myself, which is to take the loser back. But I think in this situation, Golden State almost has their back against the wall, even though it's 2-2, because to get to game 7, they got to win this game because are they going to win in Boston game 6? That'll be a hard win. So that's what I look at. Baseball last night, I locked Pitt under win. I locked Tampa Bay and Miami under with both lost. I locked San Diego, the ace on the mound, and then I lost with Seattle over. That was this is where the ERAs are getting to me a little bit. I'll see a 5 pitching a 5. I go over, and then, it's like 6-1 or something. And you're like, how do they only score 1 run on a pitcher that gives up 5 or 6 a game? Or how does the pitcher that gives up 5 or 6 a game shut out the other team? And that's what you get with averages. And I'm finding the longer I'm going with baseball, the longer I'm seeing some teams just stink. And really, they're bet against teams, and then teams like an Oakland just doesn't score. They just don't hit. And then I'm finding other aces like McClanahan at Tampa. This guy, I just keep locking him. He wins. Verlander, I lock every time. I think I've 7-1 with Verlander. So it's just finding the aces, and then like a Baumgartner is not as good as he was, or some of these pitchers were good but seem to have lost it, probably got injured. I'll tell you, this Tommy John surgery does not work. If people thinking, no, it doesn't work. It just, the guy, you just lose something. You've replaced your tendon. It's not the same feel. You don't pitch the same. You're just not as good. I think anybody that's had it loses velocity and feel, and they have to go more than to breaking balls and stuff. That's how I look at it. What else is going on? Okay, gold again. Please don't get upset that the gold price is down or even. Again, it's not physical. So almost there's really no point in looking at the gold price with COMEX. And it blows my mind how stupid these guys are. I'll watch some guy who's supposedly good, like I don't know. I don't want to mention names, but there's only 2 guys that I really like. They're from Britain, Alistair McLeod and somebody else. As good as from the vault and as good as it gets or something. They're the only 2 that get it. And they'll talk about the paper money versus the physical and how the Russians are backing their dollar by gold, creating the physical going to wipe out COMEX. So they get it. The other guys sit there and they look at a trend and it blows your mind. Well, look at it's about to break out. It's a fucking fixed trend. You can't. Anybody that talks trends or talks about, I think gold's about to break out, has no freaking clue. Do not listen to them. I don't know what they're just salesmen that are saying buy gold. It's going to break out. It's going to break out. These are idiots. Peter Schiff comes to mind. He's a freaking idiot. Gold's about to break out now. No, it's not, because COMEX is fixing it. It'll break out when COMEX explodes. That's the right answer to that question. When is gold going to break out? Not, well, look at the teapot and the tea kettle and, and the trend that's going to break. No, that's with real stocks that are not price fixed. However, finding not price fixed stocks are really getting hard. Well, I think the Fed I think all the Fed people and all these senators and congressmen, illegal crap, can't buy the stocks anymore, I think. So that'll stop the price fixing going on where everybody's buying Apple or everybody's buying Amazon and everything. I've noticed since I talked to this guy at Target about, I own Amazon and it's split 20-1. It's dropped 10 points. The guy's gotten killed because it's 10 times 20 now, right? So the shares are 20 and it's went down 10 points. So it's down about $200 from, and you just multiply it by each one. Buying a stock that's split 10-1 is not very good because their earnings per share, you've got 10 times, 20 times the shares. You'll never hit earnings per share now. It's too diluted. It's not a good thing. Just stay away from those kind of stocks. But anyway, that's what's happening. So price fixing, if the stocks are at market, then you can look at the trend a little bit. But I don't, I understand football, we can use technical trends. And the reason teasers work is because what do you see? The spread's 7.5. You can win by 7, but no more. Well, in teaser world, we're laying 1. So the guy's going to win by 5-6 points, going to cover that teaser line. We're price fixed. We're covered by the price fix because of the teaser. Because they don't say, well, the line 7.5, you can win by 1, but no more. They don't say you can win by the teaser line, only the regular line. So we're kind of insulated from the price fixing that goes on in the NFL. However, the NBA, we're not even doing teasers, or baseball. There's no teasers that I'm aware of. So keep that in mind. You cannot trend a price fixed item like gold and silver. It's impossible. You look for variables. JP Morgan getting out of the market is a very good sign because they're the ones fucking it up, doing derivatives that are shorting it, wanting the price to go down. It's all about the government prints the dollar, and the government wants a monopoly. And therefore, they don't want people with gold and silver because that's real money and that's outside the government. And they don't want you to go there. So they intentionally keep the price down. So you'll look at it, we get it, right? I'm the professor. I'm teaching you what's real. And I'm telling you that gold's 10, 20,000 an ounce right now, physical. And what the government's doing is saying, look, it doesn't go anywhere, which is so stupid because in inflation, obviously, it's definitely going. How is oil going up and gold not going up? And oil is not even correlated to inflation. Gold and silver are. So because they're not going up, it's so fake, it's ridiculous. Because all the inflation is you're devaluing the dollar. It takes more dollars to go buy Cheerios. Well, why wouldn't it take more dollars to buy gold and silver? They're real assets. Any real asset goes up in value, including your Joe Burrow card, your Mickey Mantle card, your Michael Jordan card, your Tom Brady card, Derek Jeter. All those are going to go up because it takes more dollars to buy the real asset. You want to buy real assets. Paintings are a little different. They're real assets, but they're hard to get rid of unless you auction them. So it's not the same as baseball cards, gold, silver, houses, things that are real assets where there's a market. Like gold and silver, I can go on eBay and sell it, but I can sell it far easier on eBay than I can a painting. Paintings aren't really priced right on eBay for some reason. Well, I think the people buying art aren't going to eBay because it's much more expensive. But they will go for a nice Tom Brady rookie card for $500,000. So I'm not sure why the paintings don't get more. Anyway, what you want is real assets that hedges inflation. It's the only way. Otherwise, you're trapped. And the government wants the monopoly, which is the same thing why there's the Russian war with the Ukraine is the monopoly. The Russians want a monopoly in oil and gas on that side of the world. and the Ukraine has a ton of it that they found a few years ago. And that's what led to Russia trying to take Crimea and Donetsk. And then it led, and I have friends in Donetsk, and they all ran away. And then now, so that's why Russia's invading Ukraine, is they want the monopoly on oil, like the U.S. government wants the monopoly on U.S. dollars, not gold and silver. However, if you look at the Chinese and the Russians have all this gold, so you say to yourself, well, why do they have it if it's not a real good thing, if it's stupid, if it doesn't have value? Why does the Chinese have 25,000 tons and the Russians have 13,000 tons or more? Why? Why does Russia want to get paid in gold for their oil or the ruble backed by gold if it's worthless? It's not worthless. It's never been worthless. It'll always have value. It's just the way it is with gold. It's just the one thing that's an asset, that's real money, that keeps its value. So keep that in mind. Keep buying. I bought 8 ounces on Tuesday. I sold some of my IRA that's just sitting in cash. I don't have anything in stocks anymore because the stock market's crashing. Inflation will crash it because inflation increases the cost. And don't kid yourself. If my pen costs were 50 cents and I'm selling it for $2 and now the costs are $5, I can't just go and sell it for $7 and make my same value. Nobody's going to pay $7. So I lose money. My stock goes down because my profits are down. Or your phone. Look for Apple to drop. Nobody's paying $1,000 for a freaking phone when they cost $5 a gallon for gas, or food goes up. Fortunately, I buy a lot of veggies. I'm not really noticing it too bad. My avocados are up to $1.38 from $1.10. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Where do I buy gold? Hi, Eve. I go to a coin store. I'm happy to give it to you. So I go to a place called Redford. Here's my latest purchase. All right, I go to this place, Redford Jewelry and Coin. There's the phone number. They're located in Michigan and near Detroit. I go into the shop. I bring cash. So what I did is I sold $20,000 of my IRA, which is sitting in cash. And I'm saying to myself, well, if the dollar's going to crash, there's no risk. So I go in, I hand him I go, how much can I get? He gives me the price. Make sure you ask for the price first. And in this case, the maple leaf was 1926. Gold was about 1850. So the maple leaf was 1926, and and he had 7 maple leaves, and then I got the other eagles at 1966. Why do I buy the maple leaf versus the eagle? Well, I say $40, and I'm buying an ounce of gold, and nobody cares. They want an ounce of gold. Nobody cares if it's a U.S. or Canadian. So that's what you do, and that's where I go and buy it. If you call them, they will take PayPal. They will not take credit card over the phone. They will take PayPal or cash. When I was in Alabama, I used PayPal. They sent it second day. It was $15 shipping. Just go buy it there. Ask what they have. They do carry the Cougarans, and they do carry the Maple Leafs and the Eagles. And they also have a lot of silver. They seem to always have the silver. This guy must have a very good connection to the mints where he's able to have it. I said, you get more gold. And I wiped him out. I took everything he had in ounces, except for 1/10 of an ounce Eagle. And I'm sure I'm going to go there later today. I'm really not going to buy because I just bought the 8, but that's what I did. Well, thank you, Eve. IC. I'm sorry. You're welcome. But keep in mind, here's my big scenario. Joe Montana rookie card, PSA 10 goes for $100,000. Check it on eBay if you can find it. $100,000. So if somebody said you can have it for $1,800, would you buy it? Hell yes, you'd buy as much as you can get. That's what the market is. Well, gold is similar. Gold's probably 20 to 30,000 an ounce for physical, but everybody looks at Comex, including my guy here. So when he looks at it, he's charging me Comex 1966, and I go, what the fuck are you doing? You know, this is like a $20,000 thing. He says, I know, but that's what everybody's selling it for. He knows it's not a real price. Comex is the derivative paper bullshit. But everybody looks at it, including the stocks. Newmont Mining, I sold the stock and I'm waiting and watching for them to crash. It's at 65, 64, 66. When I see it in the 40s is when I'm going to just go all in on the mining stock. And then all the coins I have will go through the roof. My plan is to take 1 ounce to Mercedes and buy $100,000 Mercedes with my 1 ounce of gold coin. That's that's what I'm going to do. But that's what happens. It's priced in US dollar now, but the US dollar is going out because of all the debt. They will not be able to raise the interest rates. They'll raise them a little bit more. The market will start crashing. The housing market's already, I'm reading, nobody's buying. The interest rates are too high. And then you got all the other costs going up, the oil and the food and rent and everything, and utilities. People don't have so much money. People don't get a raise at their job. However, the best way to work is to change jobs pretty regularly, because that's the only way to get a good raise and get more experience. So I went from GM to Ford to Mercedes, and I got raises everywhere and I got more experience. Now I got a new job because Mercedes, I had to go because of COVID. Now I'm making a lot more money. But if I stayed one place for 20 years, how much of a raise are they going to give me? They're going to give me shit. Here's 3%. Oh, we can't give you a raise now. But your skill, you've been there a year, you've learned more, your skill set's higher, you're worth more. That's why you leave. So I would say stay 2-3 years at your jobs and then go to a new job, and whatever you're making, add $5,000 to it. So if you're making 60, you're making 65. If you're making 90, you're making 95. And you just say, this is what I'm making. They can't prove it. They can't look at your paycheck. The employer can't say. So it's just, it makes sense in the market. What is your skill set get paid in the market? And that's what you go after. And you go, I'm making 7. Well, I look in the market on salaries.com, whatever, and it says, fuck, I can get up to 80. I'm making 80. And then the new company needs you, and that's why you work there. And then you get 2-3 years experience and you move on. You don't stay 30 years at the job for the freaking pension, because you're going to make more doing that, such as gold. We're going to make more in physical when it goes from this $2,000 to reality of $20,000 to $30,000. And once the US dollar goes out, now watch. Okay, here's what we're watching. You watch the Japanese yen go out. It's going out. It's now like 140 to the dollar. The dollar's no picnic. The dollar's, they're printing it like a joke. I'm sure Biden is controlled by the Chinese because they gave him the 31 million to his son Hunter. And so he's under their control. He wants the US. They want the US to fail because they want to be number one. So what's going to happen? We're following what China tells us to do. He's printing. He doesn't even know. He blames everybody else on inflation. Like, what is he doing? He said, well, it's because the oil companies are gouging. Prices aren't gouging. They couldn't. If they could, then why don't they make it $50 a gallon? If that's according to that, why stop at 5? Why not go to 20? Because nobody would buy. You would just get a bicycle and you would only go back and forth to work in the grocery store, maybe the health club, and that's it. You wouldn't use your car because you can't, it's too expensive to use. Or if you do use your car, you don't do other things. So that's why they only do that. That's use the logic, So invest all money into gold. Here's what I'm doing. I'm keeping about 6 months of money to pay rent, food, the normal. So let's say you're figure out your monthly expenses to live, your rent, your food, your car insurance, your utilities. Mine's about $2,000. And times it by 6 or 7 is about 14,000. I leave that aside. The rest you want to invest and you want to take out of US dollars. So I would buy gold and silver with that. I don't know if you play stocks. I don't know if you bet my football games. How do you invest? I would say buy assets, definitely gold and silver. And the key to remember is you can always take the gold back and go back to this store and say, here's an ounce of gold that you sold me. And they'll give me pretty close to what it's at on COMEX. So that's what you'll get. You don't want to do it now because it's too cheap, but that's what you'll get. So you always can turn it back in, and you might lose. If I had to turn it in tomorrow, yeah, I'd lose $40 or $50. But once it takes off, it hits 20 grand, and I need money, then you get the 20 grand. But keep in mind, you cannot lose with it. It's a lock. It will go up in value, and if you need money, you can turn it in. You're buying an asset. So you're taking worthless paper US dollar fiat currency that the Russians don't want, the Chinese don't want, the Saudis don't want, the Indians don't. Nobody wants it anymore. That's why it's going out from reserve currency. It's losing its value. So when you buy gold and silver, you're buying an asset. You're buying things of value. So therefore, the asset has value. So you can't lose. I mean, that should go way up, but at worst case, for the time being, if you needed it, if you bought it today and in 2 months from now you lost your job and you needed money, you take the gold back to the coin store or you go on eBay. You can go on eBay anytime and you're going to get the full value. You're going to get $2,000 for it. I see them going. The Eagle I saw going for $2,100. So you buy it at the store and then you put it on eBay and wait till you get paid. You get paid, fine, ship it out. Here you go, and you make and you get your money back. So it's a very liquid asset thanks to eBay. So yes, you can buy as much gold and silver as you want. The reason you buy silver, it's so fucking cheap. Silver is roughly, I'm going to say a $2,000 or $3,000 an ounce coin. It's being suppressed. It's $22 that you can get a bullion. The Eagle, you're going to pay 12 over. You're going to pay 33 for an Eagle. You're going to pay 27, 28 for a Buffalo or a Maple Leaf or something that's not a U.S. Eagle. So that's why sometimes you buy silver. So I'll probably buy silver today. It's just so cheap that you can't lose with it. Just a second. I got to get my. Sorry, I can see my battery running low. And we don't want to lose that. Pardon me. Excuse me. Okay, so when you say 27 or 28, do you mean 1,000? Are we talking silver? No, I'm not talking 1,000. I'm talking silver's $22 an ounce. So no, not 27, 28,000. When I say the value of it, I think it's about probably a $2,000 an ounce coin in physical. So we keep in mind there's the paper derivative market that these guys are fucking around with that isn't real. And then there's the physical market. So in the physical market, it's $2 an ounce. So you can buy it for $27, $28 an ounce. And but it's really worth probably $2,000 an ounce. So you got to think in terms of that. Again, can you get the Joe Montana card for $1,800? You're going to buy it. And that's how you have to think. Silver, COMEX, but COMEX isn't real. So when you're checking prices of gold and silver, you can't look at COMEX. Somehow we need to figure out what the physical market is. When you look at total US dollar in trillion and divide it by ounces of silver and gold. Gold 50,000, silver is 5,000. And that's if they have as much silver as they have. Now, the central banks buy gold. Russia, China have gold, not silver, but silver is used for all these industrial computers, cell phones, solar panels, electric batteries. Gold and silver are real money, and they're really the only real money that exists. This paper money is not real. It's just fucking paper. It's, you know, there's if I put $20 on this, it's a $20 bill. Because the government says they force you into taking it. You have to take it. That's where the government, we're making you. You want to go to Wendy's and get a hamburger. If you give them this fake $10 bill, you have to give them the hamburger. And Wendy's takes the money. So what I had advised people to do, if you have money, is get it out of the paper that's worthless, and you buy real assets: gold, silver, Tom Brady cards, Michael Jordan cards, Mantle, Ruth, Gehrig, if you can find it, Willie Mays, Koufax, all those guys. That's what you get, is the real assets will hold because they're an asset. So therefore, they'll come out with a new currency. That's what happens. So don't get afraid like, oh, the US dollar goes away. What are we going to do? They'll introduce a new dollar. So a new piece of paper. So this piece of paper is worthless. Here's this piece of paper. We're going to come out with US dollar number 2. But if it's not backed by gold or silver, it's still bullshit. But it'll be, oh, okay, I'll take that to Wendy's for a while, and they'll accept that until people realize that's bullshit. You never want to own what's called fiat currency because it's paper, not backed by anything. The only thing you want when you hear gold and silver, that's why the ruble, what did it do? It was $77 an ounce. A dollar. They put the sanction on it, went to 150. Then Russia says we're backing it by gold, so I need to get into sports trading cards. Well, that's up to you if you want to. I'm into it because I love sports, now obviously football. You want to get into real assets, and if you want cards like Nick likes the Joe Burrow cards, and I try to get him into the Brady cards and the Mantle cards and the Mays cards and Jordans and those guys, Derek Jeter. You want to buy, if you do get into it, you got to enjoy it, and you got to get limited cards. They are numbered, the real good ones, or the Brady rookie cards, and I got numbered Brady rookie cards. I'll show you on our next show. That's what you want to get. You want to get limited, but you want to get, and they've got to be in perfect condition. They got to be PSA 10s or cards that you pull out that are just good corners, good centering, sharp pitcher. Nothing wrong with this card. It should get a 10. I used to have a collection, and I sold it for sure, or are you trying to say fortune? Didn't have anything worth much value. Well, that's where you'll be surprised. I didn't think I had anything worth for you. And then PSA 10 grading came out. So if you look at the Joe Montana rookie card and you just pull it and it's not graded, it's just card. And I have the card and it's not graded. It's worth a couple $100, $500-$600, maybe $1,000. If it's really in mint, good corners, good centering, good pitcher. But if you take the card and get it graded by PSA and it comes back at 10, that card is worth $100,000. Not graded, it's worth, I don't know, maybe I can get $1,000 for it because mine's mint condition, but it's a little off center at next show. And that's where you get the value if it's a PSA 10. And it can't be anybody else graded it. Can't be KSA, it can't be SGC, it can't be Beckett. It's got to be PSA. How do you get the rookie cards? I used to go to a card show. I live in Detroit. There was 2 giant card shows at a Gibraltar Trade Center, which is like this big, huge, what do you call them? Flea market type of things. And they would specifically, one weekend of the month would be sports cards. and I would go. And at the time I was married, and we would go, and I knew the player. And so when Brady came out, I didn't buy it his first year. After he won his second Super Bowl, I then started going, okay, he's won 2 Super Bowls. Now I'm going to attack Brady cards. They weren't expensive. And I got rookies. Some of them I got out of the box. I got some Pacifics that I bought the box because I thought the cards were cool. And I got Brady cards. And I didn't realize you got to really look close. They're numbered out of 736. So the Brady card, I thought was just a regular card, was really a rookie card, and it's worth $20,000 PSA 10. This card's perfect condition. It should be PSA 10. So you can buy a box at a show, or you can go specifically buy the card. And that's what I do is I go and I specifically look for Brady's or Derek Jeter's. I had McGuire's and Bonds and got fucked because with the steroids, but then I got really smart. I started buying Mantles, Mazes, Hank Aaron's, Koufax's, Clementi's, because they had already been done. They already have the value. Yeah, I know. I don't get why. I mean, it didn't help McGuire hit 70 homers. They don't help hand-eye coordination. They just, they're I don't know. They don't. He didn't need steroids to hit a home run. It just, I guess he healed quicker, but that doesn't really matter when you look at it. So I don't really understand the big deal with steroids. I mean, Mantle drunk. I mean, during his time, they all had alcohol and probably drugs, and nobody cared. So I don't know. Now it's so hard with everybody has videos on the phone that it's really ridiculous. But yeah. I got kind of, because I had a lot of McGuire rookies and Bond rookies and Roger Clemens rookies. So all that kind of got wiped out. But football was okay. Montana and Rice and Marino and Elway and Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith and Favre, and then Brady came in. I don't have a lot of Mahomes, and I don't have a lot of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just chokes. He won 1 Super Bowl. His cards won't be worth that much. Not as much as a Brady. Mahomes will probably win another Super Bowl. Joe Burrow. I keep telling Nick, I says, just let him win a Super Bowl. His cards are going to go down in value. Let him win a Super Bowl, then buy. Because they get forgotten. It's who won the Super Bowl last year. That was Stafford. Well, no, his cards aren't never going to be worth anything. But Burrows went up a little, but I bet they're down now because now it's baseball season. So you made your fair share off sports trading. Get half of them PSA 10s. I've got over $1 million because I got the Rice Montana rookie, a 68 Mantle. I got 61s and 65 Willie Mazes, Hank Aaron's, Roger Maris, Koufax, Clementi. I've got the Earl Campbell rookie worth $100,000. If it's a 10, it's fucking in great condition and perfectly centered. Lynn Swann rookie, Tony Dorsett rookie, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton rookie's $100,000. So if any of them, if I get half of them back at PSA 10s, they're all worth $100,000. So that's right. And good luck finding a 1965 baseball PSA 10. You can find if you can go to a show and just see it nicely centered and good corners and a good picture, and it comes back. So that's really like Pro Set and hoops. And then I realized after a few years that it's really not the set, it's the player. And then I realized it's the superstar. So I want to get Jordan and Isaiah and Bird and Magic. And Bird and Magic, for some reason, do not have the value that they should. And then you started going, well, wait a minute, because I am older. I said, so I should go back. And that's when I started getting the Franco Harris and the Lynn Swann, all the Steelers. I got some really good Green Bay Packers. I got a 59 Bart Starr. The only one I didn't get is Paul Hornung. I got Nitschke and Dave Robinson and Willie Davis and Jeter. I got all the Hall of Famers in the defense. And but just any old Green Bay Packer, and these are cheap. Unitas. I got Gale Sayers, Joe Namath. His rookie card's worth it. I don't have it. Bobby Orr, I wish I was rookie. That's kind of one. I would go put the nickel in the machine at the drugstore and get 7 or 8 cards out of it. And this was in the late 60s, and I wish I would have pulled some Orrs out. Or I wish I would have, my dad would have been smart enough to get Bobby Orr, figure out how to get them and then just grab 100 of them, and I wouldn't have to worry. But get the superstar. Well, you got to get lucky, right? Target. First, they're more expensive. So you really want to buy your packs from a card show where the guy, or a sports card where you can, and I always negotiate a card. You want it, you go, what's your best price? And he can see you're a buyer, so he's going to deal with you because he needs to sell his inventory. And you want to lowball it. And, again, the price guide is like Comex. It's not really, it's like near mint condition. So if you find you are looking for gem mint cards, perfect corners, perfect centering, and good 86 Flair basketball, the 87 Flair basketball, any of the top products from the 60s and 70s, the fucking centering is terrible. So if you can find a perfectly centered 1965 Willie Mays, buy it and pay whatever you need to pay for it. That'll be a 10, and there's not a lot of 10s. I very rarely see a 10 in 60s baseball, even 70s football. I got a 82 tops. I got a couple of Montanas and a couple Peytons that are perfect. And I bought them for $2, and I said to myself, I know these are perfect. The Montanas are about 800, and the Peytons are about, so any of those cards that you see that are mint, and 83, 84 tops. I got the Montana there. Rice didn't come out till 86. But if you can see a perfectly centered Rice or Montana rookie card, buy it and buy it and buy 100 of them. Buy as many as you can. Try to negotiate. You got to go to a show where the dealers are, because then you're dealing with the market. If you go to Target, you buy a pack. They're marking it up at $4 or $5 you're getting. You don't want to get the junk. You want to get the specific. You want to get Joe Burrow now. You want to get Brady. You want to get Barry Sanders. You don't want to get a bunch of crap. Then you've wasted your money. So if you can find a trade show, how do you get your card checked out to get a PS? You got to mail it to PSA, which is, I believe there's one in California, and I think there's one in Texas. So you have to actually send it to PSA. They have a checklist. You go on PSA.com. There's a checklist. You put down the player, what it is. And I don't know what the cost is now, $30, $40, $50. And then you mail it. I would mail it like first class, so it's signed receipt. And then they inspect it, and then they send it back graded. And that's the only way to do it. Because like the Montana card or the Walter Payton, I want to go to the guy's desk who's inspecting it and make sure I get the fair grade and make sure he doesn't switch them. That's my fear, is I'll give him my 68 Mano, which is fucking a 10, and he keeps it, says, hey, this thing's worth a lot of money. I'll give him another card back. And that's what my fear is. Now, I don't know if that happens. I wouldn't put it past them, depending on the value of the card, that the grader would switch it, going, oh, I'll just go pick up an 8 Mano and switch it for this 10 Mano and make a lot of money on it. So that's the only thing. But that's the only way to do it. Send it to PSA, and PSA is the only graded. If you have other graded cards, break them open with, you use like pliers, and you bend on the corners, it cracks it, you open up. I had a Derek Jeter that was not a PSA 10. It was GSA 10 or something. And you can see the difference on eBay. The PSA 10's $5,000, the other one's like $1,000. So you just, get it graded by PSA because you're losing a lot of money. Yeah, well, I guess if you know somebody that's got it graded PSA, so maybe if you go to a card show, I would ask a dealer at a PSA 10 and ask, or a PSA 9 and ask them about it and say, can they do it? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. This is a kind of a shady deal, the sports cards, and it's very, unless it's a numbered card. So if you have a Tom Brady 17 out of 25 and it's numbered 17 out of 25, and I got one of those, you know it's card 17. They can't fuck with you, right? They can't give you card 20 or another card. They got to give you 17. You take a picture of it. If it doesn't 17, then you got a nice lawsuit. But these regular, like the Montana rookie card, I don't, I can take a picture of it, but I guess if I got one that's way off center and I take a picture and say, this is the card I gave you, is a centered one. And then how do I prove? I guess I'd have to hold it in my hand, go, here it is, click, and something where I can prove, look, I had my possession. That's the card I mailed. Because even with that, they don't know that that's really the card you mailed in. So it's a real tough situation. But on eBay, the Montana rookie not graded versus the Montana rookie PSA 10, even a PSA 9. The PSA 10 gets you 100 grand. The PSA 9 gets you, I don't know, 7 or 8 grand, maybe 10 grand. It's not anywhere close for some reason. And I don't know why. A mint card 9, if the 10's 100,000, the mint would be, 50,000. And the 10's a 10 because it's there's very few of them. There's not maybe there's 5,000 a fine. So that's an alternative, but I would still want the gold and silver. You don't worry about the grade. Gold's gold. You can get it graded. There is in coin world, MS70 is PSA 10. You can get MS70, MS69, MS68. However, for gold, we want an ounce of gold and an ounce of silver. I don't care if it's an MS70. It will get you more like a proof versus a regular, but you got to pay more for it. But I just am buying an ounce of gold. I'm getting out of worthless US dollars and I'm buying gold. So I don't need it graded. It's not going to have the same differentiation as the Montana 10 versus the Montana not graded. The gold, an ounce of gold is an ounce of gold, and there's nothing you need to worry about. Again, to hold up the gold, you get a magnet. If this sticks to the magnet, it's fake. If the magnet doesn't stick to it, it's real. So if you're buying gold jewelry, use that. If you're eating the coins, they won't stick to the magnet. They're real. Now, this guy, where I go, they're real gold. They test it. They're marketable. I'm not worried about it. It's the guy maybe, the jewelers, I think, were the biggest fakers. So I would, if I'm buying jewelry, I'm bringing a magnet to that. The coins are pretty much good. And the fake ones would be, the color just wouldn't look right. You'd go like, is this gold? So especially these older Cougarans or older Eagles are probably gold because nobody's going to make a fake 1992 Eagle, fake. They're going to be the newer stuff. Anyway, so yeah, you want assets. Because they're real. They are money. The dollar is not real. This is paper. They're printing millions and millions. And if you don't think so, look what happened in Germany in 1930. What did they do? They hyperinflated. They printed and printed and printed, and people were using them the wallpaper because they had no value. Once people lose the demand for it, and the trust is when it goes out. Hyperinflation, very simply, from the professor, so this is gospel. Hyperinflation is when people get the money and don't trust it. and they'll run out to Target and Meijer and Kroger and because they are believing that the value of it's going to be dropping further. But most people in America don't even get the concept of the value of the dollar is losing. What does everybody say? Oh, oil's up to $5 a gallon. No, it isn't. It's the dollar losing the value where it takes $5 to buy the gallon of gas that it used to be. I remember I was a kid in the 60s and it was 19 cents for a gallon. Somehow I remember that. I was probably went with my dad and hoping to get a Bobby Orr card. And you go to a gas station and it was like 19 cents, $5. And the same with gold. Gold used to be 35 for an ounce. Now it's 1900, but really it's 20,000. But it means it just takes more dollars. Seeing the value of the dollar, so you need more dollars to buy the goods. It's a simple definition of inflation and what's going on. And what happened in Germany, people lost confidence in the dollar. The value had dropped so low that it took so many dollars to buy milk. And that's the wheelbarrow story. They would just take a wheelbarrow full of money and get a milk and a bread. Had they had gold and silver or a Babe Ruth card back in the 30s, could have bought the whole grocery store out with the ounce of silver. That's key to it. And if you have that, you always have value. That's why I told the story when I went to the restaurant, the barbecue, and I offered the ounce of silver to pay for dinner, and the guy took it. They'll always take the gold and silver. So eventually what's going to happen as the value, people are going to get scared, but people don't realize they're all being fucked and what's happening. So people think, oh, the damn oil companies, because that's what this idiot Biden is saying. Oh, it's the oil companies. And, oh, they're gouging. They're not gouging. You're fucking the dollar by printing it to death. The more you print. Now, how do you stop it? Yes, you raise interest rates over the value of the inflation, which is what they did in the 80s. But the interest rate they raised it to was 20% in 1980. That's how Reagan stopped it. You can't do it now. And inflation's real rate's about 20%. They go 8.6, but they take out gas and the food and the rent and the housing isn't in there. Well, really, it is in there. Everything's gone because now we got a $60 trillion debt because you got to include Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid with the freaking debt on the balance sheet. $60 trillion in debt. Who the fuck? Why do you want to invest with somebody that's 60 trillion in debt? And that's Japan and the euro and the British pound. They're all getting fucked and they're all going out because they're all doing the same thing.